News channel after news channel after news channel. Ever wonder why they report the same news? This is Wake Up America.
Brought to you by Citizen Stringer.
The media has become absolute lunacy. What makes us different? We just tell the truth. Daily headlines, politics, social issues, focusing on headlines that the mainstream media ignores. Conservative to the core and honest, sometimes to a fault. Unapologetically American. Welcome to Wake Up America with your host, Stephen Oatley.
Well, it would be nice if I press the right buttons once in a while. Not all the time, just once in a while. That would be nice. Anyway, welcome to Wake Up America. Now, I know you're probably curious and saying, Steve, why are you doing a morning show now? Well, I feel like we need to talk about some of the news and some of the headlines that are currently taking place across the country with maybe less opinion. Obviously, I'm going to have some opinion, but less opinion than we typically do. And we're going to give it a shot. At first, this episode is sponsored by Citizen Stringer. If you're unfamiliar with our news site, go check it out, citizenstringer.com. We have most of the stories that we talk about on this show and pretty much all sorts of other stories as well that we'll run through real quick. This is going to be a quick show because I'm not really prepared and I got a lot of stuff to do, but I wanted to talk about some of the big stories that are coming out today and over the weekend. Obviously, a lot of these stories we'll talk about at a greater length tonight on the Rational American. But first, I guess we'll just talk about the elephant in the room, the mass shootings that occur every day in America. Every week in America, we have a tremendous amount of mass shootings. Last week was no different. We continued the pattern of destroying our country. And with 22 mass shootings in the previous 7 days, 22, leaving 26 people dead, 80 people injured. Now, tonight on the Rational American, which airs at 8 p.m. On social media and on Citizen Stringer, you'll be able to watch it and see what is actually going on in America. I'm going to try to put that all together. It's going to be a lot of mass shootings to talk about, however, because like I said, we have 22 mass shootings in the previous 7 days. So far this morning, granted, it is only 10 o'clock in the morning, or 10:10 right now. We don't have any mass shootings today. So, I mean, that's something good, right? We may have had some early this morning. I don't know. I don't think so. No, we had 4 yesterday, though, on September 11th. Now, you may have remembered 21 years ago yesterday, some Saudi terrorists flew their planes into the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and hijacked another aircraft where people actually fought back and took it down. And that crash landed in Pennsylvania. What's kind of crazy to me is the sheer amount of people that are comparing January 6th to 9/11. Now, I will be forefront, up in the front and saying to everybody, if you compare January 6th to September 11th, you are not an American. You are anti-American. I will go as far as saying that you are anti-American. And that's what a lot of people have done. Mark Warner, a Democrat senator from Virginia, my state, he did that. Chuck Todd interviewed Kamala Harris yesterday, and he asked the question, is there a threat greater or equal now than what we faced in 9/11? And Kamala Harris gave some backwoods answer. And I'll probably rant a little bit more about that tonight, but I wanted to just talk about it real quick. Also, NFL games yesterday. Didn't really care. NFL's got a little woke. I did listen while I was driving back from Freedom Fest in Kentucky to the Patriots Miami game, and I was less than entertained because the Patriots lost, I think, 17-3. Big game last night. I actually put a couple of bucks down on the Bucks. Or actually, I put it on the Cowboys because I hate Tom Brady now. And I lost. So, F football, I don't really care too much about it. There was a big fire that broke out in Miami, I believe, because I think New England was playing in Miami. And there's a big fire that broke out. Apparently, someone left a barbecue on by a bunch of vehicles when they went in, and it burned up, a half a dozen cars. That's pretty much the only thing I care about football. There was the late night games. I heard it on the radio this morning. people were talking about how the late night games did not do enough to show remembrance for September 11th. I didn't really watch that much of the games because I kind of fell asleep. So I'm unsure. I know that I believe it was the Giants. They had NYPD officers singing the national anthem, which I thought was great. And then the crowd actually overtook the woman that was singing for the, I believe it was NYPD. And then the crowd actually sang the national anthem. And I'll probably play that video tonight if we can get authorization to. I got to buy the video though, because we can't air that. It's an NFL. The way they do stuff is screwy. I think it was on Friday, 2 Cobb deputies were shot down in Georgia while serving a warrant. I believe there was another officer shot yesterday somewhere in America. I forgot where it was because, I went down to Freedom Fest in Kentucky, and it was a great experience. I met a lot of viewers. We were unable to live stream. They didn't want us to, which I don't know why. For the life of me, I can't really figure out why. And we kept trying to figure out where the live stream was. Apparently, all the speakers are live on Bulldog Nation on Rumble, and so you can watch all those speakers there. I'm not sure why they didn't want a lot of people to live stream. They even asked during the speeches or before the speeches began, they even asked people not to live stream if they could avoid it. And so I'm kind of perplexed as to why you wouldn't want something like that covered unless you're trying to make it exclusive. I got a feeling that's why our vending table was so far away. We weren't even near any other vendors. We were all the way at the beginning of the entrance. So all the cars drove by us and the people had to, trudge all the way back up to the front of the place just to get any coffee. But still, we gave away well over 100 cups of coffee and people loved it. So that's good. Met a lot of new viewers, probably have some new viewers watching the show now or will later. So that's good. All together, I had fun. I got to give a big shout out to Martha and the ladies that came with her from Ohio. She's a huge help. And in all reality, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it by myself because it's funny because I talk in front of a camera for a living, but I'm not the biggest person on, being out there and, being like, buy a shirt. I've never really been too fond or too keen with that. I had a whole plan of what I was going to talk about today, but then I got, screwed up because the cameras weren't working because I had to take them all down to bring them thinking that I could live stream, but I couldn't. And I don't want this to be like the night show. You know what I mean? I want this to be a little bit different, which kind of sucks because I'm not really prepared for it. The big news story that came out today, so far this morning, is from CBS News, where apparently government official, and God, again, it's hard because I want to try to keep it like neutral and not full bias, but did anyone see my tweet this morning with CBS News? CBS News is now reporting that the United States government is negotiating with the lawyers representing the 5 people that are charged with their role in September 11th. And apparently they're working out plea deals with them where they're taking the death penalty off the table. They don't care about America. I know what you're thinking, and you're like, who? No, I firmly believe this government has lost their way. Our government, the United States government, has lost their way, and I don't know if we're going to be able to get it back. They're literally negotiating with terrorists, people that killed over 4,000 people. They're negotiating to take the death penalty off of the table for these guys, which for the life of me, I just can't. I can't understand why our government is so lame. You know what I mean? It's really hard. And I think when I saw that story, I couldn't even finish reading it. Like, Fox News also reported on it, but CBS, I believe, was the one who broke it. U.S. military, and this comes from Fox News, U.S. military prosecutors are reportedly negotiating a potential plea deals with 9/11 mastermind Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and 4 other conspirators imprisoned in Guantanamo Bay. So according to CBS, the plea deal may allow the 5 dependents. 5 dependents. Oh, that must be an error. Defendants. To escape a potential death penalty. Mohammed is widely credited for being the architect of 9/11 terror attacks. The other 4 defendants are Ramzi. I'm not even going to try to read their names. Attorneys for the defendants reportedly say they will be willing to enter a guilty plea in exchange for taking the death penalty off of the table, as well as getting treatment for the alleged torture they received while in CIA custody. CIA held each of the 5 men for interrogation prior to the arrival at Guantanamo in 2006. And obviously, critics, all these woke morons, believe that the CIA's methods amounted to legal torture. These people, again, killed 4,000 Americans. I don't care what kind of torture they sustained. I don't believe that we should. I didn't even know they're alive. I can't believe that we've been spending taxpayer dollars keeping these scumbag terrorists alive. That's just my opinion. Anyway, some scumbag lawyer named James Connell, a defense attorney for Al Baluchi, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. And I said scumbag lawyer, and I know a lot of people are like, well, that's your job. I don't care. If you represent a terrorist, you're scum. Like I would quit. I'd turn in my law license and be like, I'm done. Muhammad and his co-defendants are charged with crimes including terrorism, hijacking, and 2,976 counts of murder for their alleged roles in planning and providing logistical support for the September 11th plot. The trial for the 5 men had been bogged down in legal challenges for many years. Prosecutors attempted to advance pretrial hearings in late 2021, but there remains no end in sight. Each of the defendants has been assigned a military lawyer, a civilian lawyer, and a human rights lawyer. The case has come before 7 different judges with the latest being Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Matthew McCall. So apparently the United States government is working out plea deals with these people who have killed thousands and thousands of Americans. Plea deals where we won't put them to death and taxpayers will continue supporting them for the rest of their lives, however long that may be. Let alone all the people that we had in Guantanamo Bay that we arrested and are now in a high-ranking Taliban government. Our government is. I don't. You know that the saying, like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. I don't really have anything nice to say, so maybe I should just stop talking about that. It's just insane. It's insane. What I've learned by watching this administration is anything that makes sense exactly is what they're not going to be doing. Yeah. I mean, it just seems that's the new normal for us, where they're just never going to do anything that makes sense. Instead, they're just going to continue to destroy us little by little until we are nothing. Or at least that's the impression that I get. And so much for being unbiased in this news reporting. So the plan, and I completely screwed it up, so I don't need you to write your comments on what you think about the show as the description says, because this one sucks. But essentially, and the camera's weird too. So like, see what, and watch, I'll show you. I'm having major issues with this camera. See? I don't know what it is. And to be honest, it's the same camera. It's just feeding through an ATEM, which is turning it red, and I don't know why. So this morning has just been one of those mornings. I'm trying to get all the coffee orders out, trying to get everything taken care of. But my plan is every morning at 10 a.m., and sometimes it will be live, sometimes it won't. We'll run through your day's headlines. We'll run through the sports. We'll run through entertainment, whatever. But it's going to be more of a news style show from, anywhere from a half an hour to an hour. At night, we'll do the Rational American podcast. That may be live or may not be live, depending on how I choose to do it. And that'll air Monday through Friday, except for Tuesdays. My son has a football game. So when I do the show, it's going to be a little bit later. On Tuesdays, that is. So it may start at like 9 or something, depending on what my son has. But yeah, it was an interesting weekend. I woke up yesterday morning. So I left Freedom Fest right after the last speaker. The speakers were all screwed up, so they actually started way earlier than they were supposed to. So we were done by like 9 o'clock. I packed everything up with the help of Martha and everybody else, and then I proceeded to leave, right? And I drove maybe 2 hours before I got to a rest stop and decided that's where I'd crash out for the night. I was getting tired. then attempted to sleep, except I had no internet. I have a really hard time falling asleep without television. There was no internet at this rest stop. So I apparently just fell asleep like on my stomach with my face down. Well, I woke up the next morning and my entire, shoulder was all, my neck was stiff. Everything was all messed up. So then I drove home and I had to keep pulling over because I couldn't even check my mirrors and I had to keep stretching and all that stuff. Now that's a little bit better. My shoulder's a little bit better, but now my back is tense. And, it's when you wake up like this, sometimes I had a plan. Like I started driving here. I went to the store first, grabbed all the mail and stuff like that, threw away the garbage from this rally, and then drove up here, packed a bunch of coffee orders, which I'm going to drop off at the post office. I was doing good. And then I forgot to prep for this show, unfortunately. And so I don't really have a show for you, unfortunately. Freedom Fest was good. I like it. I like meeting everybody. It's hard to do it by yourself. So luckily I had Martha and them there to help me out. Shout out to Chloe. I think that's Martha's daughter. And the other one, I didn't catch the name. And then the other woman who watches the show too. I'm sorry, I forgot your name as well. But we saw a lot of viewers. A lot of viewers did come, and but I missed all the speeches because I couldn't leave. So I couldn't go watch the speeches or anything like that. So I don't know. It wasn't like with the Trump rally that I'm going to this weekend. I'm not going with any shirts or any coffee or anything like that because I need to be able to go out and like talk to people and see it. I need to be able to experience. I go to these events for me as well. You know what I mean? And so yesterday I was just being a vendor, and I don't want to go to the events and just be a vendor. So I'm going to the Youngstown, Ohio Trump rally on Saturday. I'll probably drive up Friday and then just be out there with a camera. I'm not even going to go in the rally. I just want to get some interviews and talk to some people. Maybe I'll give away the little packets of coffee or something like that, but I'm just going to kind of take it easy. Christy was there and gave the flyer of Lucretia Hughes. Oh yeah. Yeah, we met. I met a lot of people, so it was cool. I just, I'm not as much of a people person as I relay, I guess, on social media. So it's kind of awkward sometimes. I like to sit back and like people watch and talk to people. But then again, we had some good interviews or good conversations with people that are likely going to lead to some interviews. We got an author of a book. I forgot what the title of the book is. He signed it for me though. I may have him on. And then there's a guy that once he gets resettled in the Philippines, he's also an author and a poet. I may have him on the show, and I want to do more interviews, even though I don't really like doing them. I want to do more, just kind of change up the style. You know what I'm saying? You keep thinking that our government wouldn't do that as though it's about to happen. Yeah, I don't know what that comment even means. But yeah, so that's essentially this. Like, sorry, this was super fast. I was going to talk more about the news and more about sports and stuff like that, but I'll be honest. I read the thing about the government apparently taking the death penalty off of the table, and it just left a real sour taste in my mouth, and I'm not able to. I hate the news. I was talking about that with the people this weekend. I literally hate the news. I hate doing this. I hate reporting on all the bad shit of society. And to be honest, there's not much good. There's not a lot of good out there to report on. So it sucks. That's why, this morning show, plus I didn't really have enough time because I was still running around this morning, because it takes me about 2 hours to prep for an hour show. And I didn't have 2 hours. And then I was only going to go live at 1:30 or at 10:30. And then I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to go live right now and just talk. But tonight at 8 o'clock, I will have a more, complete show. I may just actually switch back and just use the software on this computer instead of whatever this red thing is. Because this is the same camera. You know what I mean? It's the same camera. There's just something wrong with the A10 Mini. And I got a feeling it has to do with vMix. You know what I mean? It's software stuff. It's confusing. But I'll be live at 8 p.m. Someone said there's no hearings. No, I don't believe so. Usually not on Mondays. I could check, but usually not on Mondays. Let me see. Yeah, no meeting scheduled for today, but they're back in full force tomorrow. And I did get a notice about the White House press secretary, although I'm not quite sure what that is. Oh, is she on a plane? Yeah, they're on a gaggle going to Boston, Massachusetts. So she's going to be doing a audio-only press conference. So I'll listen to that. And if she says anything that's even remotely interesting, we'll talk about that tonight. I also got to go to the gym today. I haven't gone in a while. And yeah. But I will I'll see you guys at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock Eastern tonight. We will be live again. I apologize. I like nobody really understands how hard it is to do this and keep a positive outlook on the news. You know what I mean? Because it sucks. It's just negative shit all the time. Let's look at the headlines on Fox News right now. I mean, the Queen stuff, that's what's live probably on Fox News right now. But in terms of news, I guess that's what news is. News is just the negative shit in reality, right? I don't know. But I will see you guys tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern time. All right, bye.